Hey, what is up, YouTube? It is Krod here. I'm back with another good video for today. I wanted to talk about, I guess as far as with the recent PBC fights that just happened. I'm going to talk about Vito Mielnecki's recent TKO corner stoppage victory over Nick Delomba, and then we're going to be talking about, whatchamacallit. We're going to talk about Kenneth Jr. defeating Keyshawn Williams, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Keyshawn Williams. That was a good fight. And then we're going to talk about Elon De Jesus and Rajon Chance 2. Yeah, so I'll probably just start from at the bottom and work my way up to the top. Elon De Jesus did a very good job. Or no, I'll talk about Kenneth Jr. and then Elon and then, yeah, Vito. And then, I guess I'll throw in Joey Spencer in there too. So, yeah, I'll talk about that, and then let's get right to it. Yeah, so let's talk about Kenneth Jr. versus Keyshawn Williams. I believe that's his name. That was a good fight, and I actually had a lot of fun, watching that fight. Kenneth Jr. is a beast. For those of you that don't know, he is a guy that had defeated Elvis Rodriguez in the past on that top-ranked undercard, I believe. I forgot what card that was on, but Kenneth Jr. did an amazing job outboxing him and defeating Elvis. And I thought Kenneth did a great job just controlling the distance and just making Elvis pay for his mistakes. I thought the fight was very competitive in this one against Keyshawn Williams, if I'm not mistaken. I think his last name is Smith, but I'll, check out his name right now, actually, just to be exact. I think his name is, Kenneth Sims Jr. Yeah, I know that he fought somebody. Yeah, it had to have been Keyshawn something. Yeah, Keyshawn Williams. I was right. Yeah, so Keyshawn Williams, that's his opponent. He was undefeated coming into the fight, but Kenneth, he defeated him. He beat him in, very, very good, spectacular fashion. He did an amazing job defeating Keyshawn to the punch. Keyshawn had no answer to the punch. Little does anybody know, these guys actually fought each other as a last-minute replacement because both of their opponents pulled out of the fight. So it wasn't even actually like a, fair fight from the beginning because, they didn't know, each other's styles, and they just kind of, took a wild card, approach into taking the fight last minute. But, yeah, it was still a good fight. They still put on a good show. And, this doesn't really do anything bad for either man's, career, if either man had lost. But it's just like the fact that Keyshawn, he came into the fight thinking like, Kenneth was just going to be another opponent. And, little did he know, Kenneth, he has a lot of style and skill that makes a lot of fighters look bad. I don't think I have spoken about Kenneth Sims Jr. a lot on my channel, but this will be the first time that I have. And I will say Kenneth Sims, he's like a small representation of Terrence Crawford, but obviously the biggest downfall is that, he doesn't have any power. He's a pure boxer. He's not a switch hitter, but I would say he's an elusive, duelist-minded pure boxer. And what I mean by that is that he's basically a hybrid, two-sided fighter. He has that elusive pure boxing talent, but the only downfall is just his lethality and power. I think it could obviously just mainly just be that, he doesn't sit down on his punches a lot. But you know, his power is obviously not there early game and late game. So, you know, he tends to have a lot of a downfall to his how should I say, to his skill set, you know, like when he is getting tired in the fight. But it doesn't really show that much because, you know, he does try to do it the best he can. So, you know, that's why, you know, his record, you know, is way better compared to, like, you know, his recent years where he wasn't doing as well. And I think that was just mainly due to the setbacks that he had received in the past. But it's good that, you know, he's staying active. You know, he's only 28 years old. He just recently turned 28. So he definitely did what he had to do to show to the world why he is who he is. And I think I think that was really good. I think it was good for PBC to bring him to a good card like this, even though that Vito, he's not like a star level fighter yet, but it's good to have these like young fighters, you know, display their talents, and you know, maybe one day they could definitely see each other again, you know, on another big stage on another good PBC level card. Because what I like about PBC is that they do a fantastic job in making sure that the young fighters get their shine when they're ready to step up and face, you know, the top level talent. So, you know, Al Heyman is definitely bringing back the old roots of boxing, where you get your opportunity when, you know, like when you have shown let the PBC that you're able to, you know, display your talents on a bigger level stage. And it's good that PBC does that because, you know, for Top Rank, you know, they obviously don't do that. They, like, you know, 9 times out of 10 don't even really give fighters like enough, you know, television coverage in how good that they fight or how well that they display their skills. And, you know, there's only very few fighters at a top rank that are politically, you know, designated in, you know, fighting, you know, on TV versus, you know, for the PBC, you know, well, I wouldn't say every fighter, but a good number of fighters that you are like more mainstream connected to. Most of those, you know, up and coming young guys definitely get their time to shine. So that's a good portion of PBC doing a way better job than Top Rank that doesn't promote their fighters all the way through. So that's actually good on the PBC side. But as far as this fight goes with Keyshawn Williams and Kenneth, Kenneth did a great job. I thought Kenneth, you know, just purely outboxed him, made Keyshawn look absolutely horrible out there. He came close to stopping him a couple of times, you know, in the mid to later rounds. Even though I believe it was I want to say it was a 10-rounder, if I'm not mistaken, or 8-rounder, but still, Kenneth did what he had to do. He, you know, dominated this guy. It was a very fun fight to watch, and I had lots of fun talking or just like watching that fight. But as far as other fights go, I was gonna talk about Trevon Marshall and his recent knockout victory, in which it was I want to say it was like a TKO victory that he had, but I wasn't gonna get into that because, you know, that wasn't really too much of a fight for me to like really talk about. He dominated the other guy, and he did a very good, phenomenal job. Absolutely, like, you know, destroyed him and slaughtered him. But yeah, like I really hope Trevon Marshall does come back. Probably, hopefully, sometime in maybe early February or early March. It probably would be better if you kind of put him back on the, you know, Errol Spence and Yordenis Ugas undercard. I think that would be really good for, you know, his comeback. But I think that'll be pretty good to see Trevon back. And I probably say the same with you know, Kenneth. You know, as soon as possible, if Kenneth can get back up inside the ring, I think it would be very good to see him back up there competing at the high level very soon. I mean, he's only 17-3, or I want to say like what, 17-3, and I believe like 1 draw. But yeah, Kenneth, he has well over 20 plus fights. I believe he's ready for the high level. He just needs to get in there with, you know, some top 10, you know, level contenders. And I mean, he fights at welterweight now. He doesn't fight at 140. But I mean, Kenneth, you know, he is a, like to me, I think he fights way better at 140. Or, no, not 140. I think Kenneth fights a lot better at 147. So if Kenneth can manage, you know, let the punch resistance at 147 like he did at 140, in which I think 140 made him look a lot smaller. So I think 147 is like his natural, you know, big boy, mature weight. I think he can do very well at that weight class. It's just only a matter of time of making sure that, you know, he's actually ready for that type of, you know, level of competition, because, you know, there are levels to this game, and, you know, Kenneth, you know, he has to be ready for all, you know, walking stones of the welterweight division, because, you know, those killers that are pure titans and pure monsters, guys that don't think about losing, that's gonna offset you one day, and, you know, you might get caught on your worst night, and some killer out there at 147 can take you out. But I think Kenneth, he has more than enough experience to do it. It's just like a matter of, you know, making sure that he actually does it. And I think Kenneth will do a very good job at 147. You know, he's been in the ring sparring with Terrence Crawford, I believe Manny Pacquiao, if I'm not mistaken, and he's been in there with Errol Spence, like basically like world, like, you know, like world title level competitors. So it's not like Kenneth has not seen that style of fighters, you know, in his life. He is a very good fighter, and I hope to see him back. But as far as the other fights go, let's talk about Joey Spencer and Limberth. I think his name is Limberth Gonzalez or some shit like that. Some like, you know, like Mexican, you know, descended fighter. But that fight was okay. I thought Joey, he could have done more. He could have utilized his jab a lot more to the body and start throwing more combinations to the body. He kind of did it, you know, like the same thing what he did with James Martin, try to press him, but he kind of wasted his energy for the wrong exchanges. So I thought, you know, he could have done a little bit better, but, you know, he's growing and he gets better every single fight. So I don't think like Joey is the greatest, you know, rookie, you know, level fighter in the game. But I think Joey, he's only going to get better from his, you know, up-and-coming progression of difficult fighters in the, like, you know, in the near future. Because 154 is a very loaded division. So I think like the only sharks that I can see him, you know, bang it out with would maybe be like Raul Curio, which isn't a bad fight. Or I actually wouldn't mind a fight with, man, I don't know. I wouldn't mind Carlos Ocampo, but I think Carlos Ocampo, I don't think he really fights as much anymore. But I like to see him in there with Xander Sayas. I think it's that time, man. I don't know if that's a good, you know, pick right now, but I think Joey Spencer and Xander Sayas is a good matchup from that stylistic point of view. See, now, I don't know what Joey's plans are to go get those big fights. And I'm sure, you know, he understands, like, what we, you know, from, like, the LDBC, you know, like, media wants to see from him. In which I wouldn't say that, you know, I call myself LDBC media. I just call myself, you know, just like a regular content creator. Obviously, I support LDBC. But, like, knowing that Joey, he has associated with other channels, like, you know, 78, and I want to say some other channels that, you know, that rock with 78. I forgot, but Joey, he's a very, how should I say? He's a very well-watched fighter, and especially from like the black media that looks at him, we will, like, you know, like we, as far as, you know, me myself, you know, being a black content creator, you know, like we want to see Joey be in there with some top killers in the future. And whether that might be Jamonte Clark or Terrell Gachet or you know, let's just say Erickson Lubin, who knows? I don't know. But I think it would be good to see him in there with those guys in the future. And I think Joey, he's ready. I'd probably give it a couple more years. I think Joey, he's only gonna get better. So I think what's gonna happen is that Joey is going to be at this position where, you know, when he does feel ready, he's only gonna, you know, get better with like, you know, like top 25 or top 50 level fighters. And then when he's actually good enough to, you know, win a world title, then I'll say, yeah, you know what, Joey, he's ready, and I think he's developed enough to be ready for those styles. But the only question is like, when will we see Joey ready in there with all the dangerous styles? And I think like his biggest weakness is facing a guy that's a pure boxer. Because even from like the James Martin fight, James Martin wasn't touching him up, but James Martin, he was giving him some problems where, you know, if he actually had power, you know, with those jabs, I think Joey, he definitely would have been hurt. But I think Joey, he got too overconfident in that fight, and he thought James Martin wasn't going to give anything to him. And that wasn't like a very smart idea to just kind of like leave yourself wide open for just open shots. But I think, you know, if Joey continues to do that, to be careless on defense and then try to treat it like it's like a Rocky Balboa movie where he could just take these shots and he could just continue to, you know, move forward like that, I don't see him doing well at the higher level. So I think his defensive lapses definitely need to be fixed up. The footwork, I think that's in great development. He's only getting better with, like, you know, positioning his feet and learning how to cut off at the ring more. Because, you know, he is like a, you know, inside pressure fighter. So I will say Joey has a lot of great, you know, inside pressure. But the problem is that, you know, he does not, like, you know, apply his pressure correctly when he gets somebody hurt and then he doesn't press to him. Because I think what he's trying to do is that he's just trying to wait for that one big for that one big shot, and that's not gonna give him that much success. So Joey needs to stop doing that, and Joey, he'll actually have a lot better you know, reads coming into the inside, finding those bigger shots while you let your hands go and not be afraid to take the risk on the inside. And I don't think he's afraid. I think it's just more like he's just trying to collect data before he can execute a proper, you know, like, you know, punch strategy to hurt his opponents more. So I think those slow execution reads need to be a lot faster, where he needs to start pressing now with the gas more when he sees the opportunity. And I think, you know, he's only gonna get better. So I think either or. I give his performance like a, you know, 8 out of 10. You know, he did good, but he definitely could have, you know, been a little bit more assertive, you know, with his jab earlier. And I think that was just mainly just due to poor discipline from, you know, his own, you know, detriment to not be, you know, how should I say, like, be very consistent, you know, with what he needed to do. So I don't know. I think either way, Joey did good, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what he can do later in the future. So I hope that's something that I could see from him. But yeah, that was a good fight, and that was a good stoppage. So I actually had a lot of fun, you know, watching that fight. And I hope to see him in there with at least a top 50 or a top 100 super welterweight. Definitely Raul Coriel. I think that's a good, you know, a good fight next. But if you could try to get it in with Xander Sayas, I think him and Xander should be next. Or maybe that common opponent that Charles Conwell had faced, Madiar Ashkayev. I think that's a good opponent as well. But moving forward to the co-main event, I thought this was a robbery. I don't know if you guys can agree with me, but Rajon Chance got a split decision victory over Elon De. Oh shit! I'm sorry. Over Elon De Jesus in their anticipated rematch on this fight card. And for those of you that don't know, the first fight was clearly a absolute beatdown. Elon, had a little bit of struggles in the first fight where he just didn't let his hands go enough. But then, you know, um, in the mid to later rounds, he was hurting Rajon Chance a lot, and then he ended up knocking him down, I believe, twice, if I'm not mistaken. But for some weird reason, like the referee wasn't doing his job efficiently, and he kind of gave Rajon time to like sit out during a I guess like a knockdown in which he said to the ref like he can't see, and let the doctor gave him time to like rest and shit. And it was like a bullshit fight from the beginning because Rajon Chance, he's a politically protected fighter. So people know who he is, and like entire bigger stable. So it's not like Rajon Chance is just some black coincidentalist fighter, in which I'll say yeah he is for for the majority of his career being treated. But I will say for particular PBC level fights that, well, I wouldn't even say that. I mean, if anything, Rajon, it kind of seems like Rajon, he got given like, the PBC opportunity for the first time, but he obviously got brutally embarrassed by Elon. But still, the fact that he has more of a political A side over Elon pretty much showed like who the boxing establishment was favoring within the first fight leading into the second fight. But yeah, Elon tried to do his best. He was doing good in the second fight. He applied more pressure early. Rajon, he was kind of being a little bit afraid and more precise with his punches, trying to keep everything to the outside, which that didn't work so well into his favor. If anything, it kind of actually worked against him because Rajon wasn't really, letting his hands go as much on the inside, but every time when he created distance against Elon, he was able to, throw more punches more to the outside. But that wasn't really helping because what happened was that when Elon was able to press on him and force Rajon to basically fight in the pocket, Rajon was getting hurt, and he made a lot of mistakes more in the second fight than he did in the first fight. Because in the first fight, he was doing decent until he got knocked down, but Elon, he was still touching him up, he was still hurting him. And Rajon even knew in the second fight he wasn't making any proper adjustments in the fight itself, and I thought it was just like a clear beatdown. I thought Elon did what he had to do. The fight was close. I will give Rajon, his credit. He is a very good pure boxer, but will I say he's like the better fighter on the inside? Does he have more dog? Does he have more? How should I say? Does he have more? Finishing, brutality level drive compared to Elon? And the clear answer is no. I don't think Elon is a lesser fighter compared to Mr. Rajon Chance. I thought Rajon did what he had to do, but at the same token, it's not like Rajon really did anything. How should I say? Like, Rajon didn't do anything spectacular, and Elon did what he had to do to try to make the fight close enough for him to win. But unfortunately, he came up a little bit short. Two of the judges, well, like, obviously, like, the first two judges was like 59-57, in which that definitely had to been like one fighter had to been up by like a round. So probably like what, like maybe like, oh, I don't even know, maybe 3-2, 3-2 at best. Because if you're gonna give like a swing round out of 6 rounds, yeah, because the fight was a 6 rounder. Yeah, either 3-2, yeah, yeah, definitely 3-2. In which I actually have to go back to the scoring, when the scoring gets posted. But basically, it was a split decision. Two out of the 3 judges had it, I want to say 59-57 for either or. So, like, basically, they had 2 identical scorecards in which I want to say like, out of those fighters, out of those 2 scorecards, they were up by 1 round each to beat each other. And then the third judge, in which I was really pissed off, he had it 59-55, which made absolutely no damn sense. But for some weird reason, that really meant that Elon only won 1 round out of 6 to lose to Rajan, and Rajan won 5 rounds to 1. That's basically what I'm hearing. 59-55, that's equivalent to almost like I don't even know. Like, that's almost equivalent to hearing Raymar Gaballo beating Emmanuel Rodriguez, and he didn't do anything to win. He just got his ass whipped, and Manny lost the entire fight. 9 rounds to 3, on some bullshit. But yeah, that's basically what the third judge scorecard was when I heard that. But no, that was absolutely retarded. That made no sense, and I was really pissed, man. I was like, "What the hell did I just hear?" But it, like, the fight itself, like, was a good fight, but at the same token, these judges do need to be fired. There needs to be, like, sanction level scoring, at a, marketized level where you have, like, paid trained professionals that actually know how to score a fight. Because, the judges that are hired by the sanction bodies, that's not going to cut it. There needs to be a nationalized organization at a marketized level to step in to give proper analytical punch by punch and like basically just honest scoring, because I hate watching fights like that, especially 6 round fights in which you don't really have a lot of time to designate a lot of your display talents in a 6 round fight, because it's almost just like a 4 rounder. But that's really like the crappy thing about 6 round fights, because 6 round fights are basically just swing, like obviously swing round fights, which let the fight could go either way. And I say for fights like that, it should probably be like an odd number, like a 7 rounder, or at least a 5 rounder. But I personally don't like it because that's where you get corrupt scorecards, just like that, where it doesn't really make any damn sense, and you kind of just screw over with the fighters that actually work really hard to put in the time and effort to be the best of who they are. But either way, Elon, he's now 3-1 and 1, which wasn't something that I wanted to see, knowing that I'm a fan of him. But no, Rajan, he knew his ass lost, especially from the first fight. The first fight he should have been stopped, but the second fight he didn't do anything. Yeah, like he didn't do anything better. He just kind of just did like the same thing, and he tried to act like he didn't, feel any hard punches from Elon, and I was like, nah, dude, you were getting your ass whipped. So yeah, Elon did what he had to do, but unfortunately he came up short. So I say from here on out, just like shrug it off, flip off, Rajon Rondo's, long lost son, you know, whenever like you see his ass again. And hey, if he could get like a trilogy, maybe, you know, if it's like a contender level fight, who knows? Beat him up, knock him out. Because Elon, you know, he's only gonna get better. So it's like, you know, he's a very how should I say? He's a very, you know, late primed, you know, rookie in the game. Obviously he's 27, but you know he needs to be moving fast. And I think you know his career is only getting better. So I like to see him, you know, be up there. But yeah, that was a good fight. That was a co-main event fight, so that was worth the fight. It should have been a 10-rounder, honestly. I actually wouldn't mind seeing it being at least an 8-rounder or a 10-rounder, but 6 rounds was too quick to you know have you know tight scoring like that. But yeah, moving forward to the main event, or yeah, to the main event, Vito Mielnecki versus Nick DeLomba. Um, I thought Vito, he did decent. He didn't really show anything different from his last fight. He did really show that, you know, his gas tank is somewhat decent. He had a little bit of, you know, signs of fading, in which DeLomba, well, you know, he was getting his butt whooped, you know, the entire fight. And I believe Vito, he got a corner stoppage or a TKO stoppage in the 9th round. Or yeah, I believe it was the 9th round. But you know, it was a good fight. I mean, I had lots of fun watching it. I thought Vito needed to work better with his jab to the body and stop headhunting a lot, because that, like, you know, that's obviously a recipe for disaster. Just simply, um, you know, that the problem that I have is just like Vito. He's a great, you know, how should I say, power puncher when he's able to get his shots off on time. But the problem is his reads are just not there. And I think even at 147, like when you meet a guy like you know, let's just say, you know, Richardson Hitchens, in which I don't like using him a lot, but let's just say if you meet him at 147, that's going to be a very bad style matchup in the future. Or even a guy like Jaron Ennis, even though I don't think Vito will ever see Jaron, but let's just say he does. Really difficult style matchup. And he has a lot of power, and he has a lot of great, you know, ring IQ reads. And, you know, that's what brings a lot of issues out of Vito. And I think the fight with James Martin showed that Vito, he can't mess with no, you know, slick style fighter that has great ring generalship and good ring IQ. But Vito did what he can do against a decent fighter in Nick DeLomba. But the problem with this guy was that this guy had a year-long layoff, and Vito, he's been active the entire 2021. So, you know, let that make sense and tell me, did Vito get matched up properly with the right opponent? Because this opponent, even though that it took Vito like 9 rounds to somewhat hurt the guy, DeLomba, and then get like a corner stoppage victory over him, kind of just showed like Vito, you know, he's kind of like picking and choosing. But I don't think it's him. I think Al Heyman decided to just give him, you know, a fight of his own, you know, hometown, you know, environment. So, you know, he decided to just take the opportunity while it lasted, or while it was offered, and he decided to just, you know, go for it, because, you know, I'm sure Al Heyman, you know, he got something lined up for him. It's not like PBC is going to give, you know, white fighters easy fights. You know, they're going to give this guy difficult ass fights. And I hope that happens, because, you know, he deserves, you know, difficult fights. And I mean, that's how PBC, you know, gets down. So, I would hope, you know, Vito can get, you know, let the right type of, how should I say, he can get like the right type of, you know, proper matchmaking to be ready for the high level, and I think he'll be ready in the near future. The only question is when. So I'll definitely be keeping my eye out for him. He is a good fighter. He definitely has amazing potential. The only problem is just how he implements his style, because his style is a pure inside fighter, brawler. So I think what Vito needs to do, he definitely needs to get away from his father, and I mean his trainer Muhammad Asalam. He's a good trainer. I just think, like, as far as what he can do for Vito's career, I think Vito needs to start getting that high level trainer experience from a guy like Joe Goosen or Andre Rozier or maybe Derek James. That'll definitely be a good trainer in the future. Cause like, I mean, look, if Vito is sparring with guys like Sean Porter, and I believe he sparred Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman and all those dudes, then imagine Vito in like 2 to 3 years with that level of sparring and experience. That's actually really good, because that means that Vito, he's actually, evolved into being a rookie level fighter, into being that high level veteran style fighter in just a couple of years, and then he's still young at the same time. And I think Vito, he's definitely going to be the goods in the future. But the problem is, what type of opponents, is he going to be matched up with in the future? Because it can't be low level competition. And obviously, with the PBC, they don't mess around like that. They make sure that, you know, that you get tough fights. So it's not like, Vito's getting low level opposition. But, hopefully, let's just see what happens in the future. And I think, I think his career is only going to get better. So, um, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, if anything, for the future, uh, we have, Luis Ortiz and Charles Martin. Uh, that should be a good fight. I don't think, that the fight itself should be on pay-per-view. But, yeah, that'll be a good fight. Jonathan Rice and Michael Coffey, they're rematching each other. I got Jonathan Rice. I think he's going to stop Michael Coffey. And I think that's going to be a really brutal stoppage. But I hope Jonathan Rice, he can shock the world again and make that big boy money. But who else is fighting? I forgot who else is fighting on that card. Man, I forgot what the other guy's name. But I don't remember it off the top of my head. I think it's some other heavyweight. I forgot his name though. Yeah, let me just take a look at it. Because it'll show it to me. But yeah, that heavyweight card is supremely stacked. But yeah, let's take a look at it. I think it's who else is there? Oh, Frank Sanchez. Yeah, Frank Sanchez. He's fighting Carlos Negron. That's that Puerto Rican fighter that I don't know anything about. But that should be a damn good fight. Oh, and Gerald Washington. He's gonna fight Ali Aaron Demirzin. I don't think this is. I don't even know who the hell this guy is, but yeah, best select to Gerald Washington, because he got knocked the hell out in his last fight against Charles Martin, which was a little over 2 years. Well, it will be 2 years. After this fight's over, leading into February. So that was back in the Wilder Fury 2 undercard. But yeah, that's not really good for you, buddy. I really hope Gerald stops fighting, because he doesn't deserve to really be fighting anymore. But no, he's gonna fight you know Prince Charles Martin. Well, Luis Ortiz, but yeah, he's gonna fight this Ali Aaron Demirzin guy. I don't think that's gonna be too much of a fight, but For those of you guys that are interested in the lightweight division, the homie Frank Martin, he's gonna go up against Romero Duno. That's obviously Ryan Garcia's former opponent. So I think that is a very good twist of events to see him back in action, in which he's been in a, I guess, like a 3 fight win streak. He wasn't active as much in 2020, and I guess maybe that was due to COVID. But uh, knowing that he's been active in 2021, he's only had 2 fights. That was back in August and in September, which isn't bad. He got a first round stoppage and a third round stoppage. But yeah, he's gonna fight Frank Martin. I think Frank Martin, he should have this fight in the bag. I don't think Romero Duno is that good of a fighter. But if Duno shows something a lot different from the Ryan Garcia fight, this might be a tough opponent. I don't know, because Filipino fighters are like magic 8 balls. They can either come out really good or come out really bad. But I got Frank Martin. I think Martin has all the tools to defeat him. And yeah, that's about it. So yeah, let me know what y'all think. I'll upload this probably tomorrow or tonight. Who knows? But I'll see you guys later. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And yeah, peace out. Thank you. Bye.